What up, world? Welcome to an episode of BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am BrandonJaneau, and like always on all podcast platforms everywhere, BrandonJaneauShow. Social media platforms, Instagram, Threads, BrandonJaneau, Facebook, The BrandonJaneauShow, and of course, YouTube channel. Oh, TikTok. Oh, Lord, I mentioned TikTok, BrandonJaneauShow. Go follow me on all those social media platforms, man. Yes, go follow me on all those social media platforms. Wherever you go is my YouTube channel, Brand New Show. YouTube channel, Brand New Show. Go comment, like the vids, like the shorts. Helps in the algorithms with the likes. Yeah, man. Yeah. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Thank you all for having all you guys that have subscribed. Appreciate you all. So yeah, let's get into it, man. So. Tonight it is I Believe Sports. Now, I already did the episode earlier this week, but this is an I Believe Sports top 10 list. Last week I started my a couple weeks ago, a couple weeks ago I started my top 10 list of of 90s, you know, sports. So I've been doing a 90s thing, 90s decade. So tonight it's only right that I do a top 10 list. Last two was on basketball, sports teams. Well, tonight, this is about football, particularly one side of the game, one side of the ball. Tonight, it is my top 10 90s offensive players of the 90s. Yeah. So, let's get into it, man. People that have changed the game. Now, of course, like always, man, I go to 10 and 1. Uh, 10 and 1. If you do not like my list, like always, make your own fucking list. It's very simple. It's very fucking simple. Pull up a pen, get out a piece of paper, get a pen, write that shit the fuck down. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. All right, let's start this fucking list. At number 10, number 10, it is Warren Moon, quarterback. Oh, yeah. People forget how great Warren Moon was in such a short amount of time in NFL. Like, he only played a couple of years in the NFL. Warren Moon is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. But you don't hear about him. You don't hear about him. But he's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. Um, Warren Moon dominated a very large stretch of his career. In the 90s, he definitely had a great years in the 90s. So I had to put Warren Moon on this list. He's at number 10. One of the great quarterbacks of all time. Yeah. Led the Houston Oilers back in the day. I mean, it was one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. So yeah. Number 9. Number 9. Dan motherfucking Marino. You're damn right Dan Marino's on my list. You kidding me? Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. The man has records on records on records that have been broken over the last couple of years. But Dan Marino is and has always been one of the greatest quarterbacks. To say he was still dominant in the fucking 90s is crazy. Crazy to me. Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And in the 90s, he didn't retire to what, 98, 99? So, Yeah, I mean Dan Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, man. Number eight, number eight, a man who was in the same goddamn draft class as him. That is John Elway. That is the number eight player on my list. Now, I know a lot of people sit there and say John Elway should be higher than that. He won two rings in the '90s. John Elway is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. But as much as I love and respect John Elway, his two rings really came from having an incredible support cast around him at that time. I mean, the Denver Broncos defense was really great, but also Terrell Davis being one of the great running backs. Now, I'm gonna say this right here, right now. Terrell Davis is not on my list. One of the rare few running backs in the NFL history that actually had 2,000 yards rushing. But Terrell Davis was one of the greatest examples of he got a really great running game, and John Elway took the fuck off. Um, but yeah, I got John Elway on the list. I don't get it twisted. I got John Elway on the list. Um, but he's in the He's in the two rings in the '90s, two rings, but it came so late in his career. It came so late in his career that I mean, he retired literally after he got the second ring from the after beating the Atlanta Falcons. So yeah, number seven, Steve Young. Now, yes, John Elway has two rings. Yes, John Elway has two rings. But Steve Young's impact was, to me, in the '90s, was way greater. Steve Young has one ring, but there's a lot of quarterbacks that I can physically say it was rare to see a left-handed quarterback that could also run the fuck out the football. I was a massive Steve Young fan, and I hated the 49ers. I grew up in the '90s where you had San Francisco, but you had the NFC Central. I think it was. It wasn't even like the NFC West. It's like the NFC Central. And it was the Falcons. It was the Saints. It was the 49ers. I say Tampa. I think it was in the NFC Central too. Like, yeah, like we used to play the 49ers every fucking year. That was our division as a Saints fan. So I used to see this shit up close and fucking personal. So Steve Young was one of my favorite quarterbacks. Even then, though, I had to give Steve Young his just due. Now I know a lot of people sit there and say, and there's another thing. Troy Aikman is also not on my list. Now I know a lot of people said that. Well, how's Troy Aikman on your list? I feel like Troy Aikman was more of a game manager than he was actually a true number one quarterback. And there's no shot to Troy Aikman. I mean, the man got fucking four rings. I mean, let's be real. I mean, like, no, he ain't got four. He got three rings. I mean, let's be real. But at the same time, I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend like Troy Aikman having three rings is, you know, when you had Michael Irvin, Emmett Smith, you had literally fucking, you know, all these amazing fucking pieces on that off that team. Steve Young, yes, he had Jerry Rice, but that man, Steve Young was different. He was different, man. Steve Young finally got the job. He showed everybody what he really could be. So yeah, I got Steve Young at number seven. Number six. Speaking of Troy Aikman, the man he used to throw the football to, Michael Irvin is at number 6. I know a lot of people are like, what the fuck? Michael Irvin's at 6? Yes, Michael Irvin is at 6. I love Michael Irvin. That Michael Irvin is one of the great receivers of all time. But, but when it comes to Michael Irvin in the 90s, if the rings weren't fair, would you put him in the same category as maybe, let's say, Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, or or 90s receivers like shit? I wouldn't even Andre Reed, shit like that. Michael Irvin being in Dallas at the time he was in Dallas, winning those rings that he won those rings at was massive for his career. Extremely fucking massive for his career. He needed it. He got it. Congratulations. Michael Irvin, though, is at number 6. Before I get to the top 5, I got to recap it, clearly. Number 10, Warren Moon. Number 9, Dan Marino. Number 8, John Elway. Number 7, Steve Young. And number 6, Michael Irvin. Starting out the top 5 is Brett Favre. Brett Favre won what? I think like two of his 3 MVPs in the 90s. I'm Yeah. I mean, Brett Favre won like 2 of his 3 MVPs in the 90s. Right? Dude was different. Um, Won a championship, his only title in the 90s. The Brett Favre we see today in like when we saw in the 2000s, 90s Brett Favre was different. He got to 2 Super Bowls back-to-back years. He won one, lost one. Lost to John Elway. When Brett Favre got the job, he really turned it on and became one of the best quarterbacks. So I gotta give him his just due. I gotta put him in the top 5. I do believe he was a little bit better than Steve Young, and you gotta realize he was their contemporary. Like Steve Young, Dan Marino, and all like Brett Favre was that. So yeah. Number 4, Jim Kelly. I have Jim Kelly at 4. 4 consecutive Super Bowls as the starting quarterback. 4 consecutive Super Bowls as the starting quarterback. The man started the no no huddle offense, was one of the best. I would say started it, but was one of the contemporaries of the no huddle offense, and led the Buffalo Bills to 4 straight fucking Super Bowls. That shit is damn near impossible nowadays. Like to win, to go to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Now he didn't win one, but to me, he was the best quarterback of the 90s. To me, to get to 4 fucking Super Bowls is damn near unjust. Steve Young got to 1 Super Bowl and won 1. John Elway got to 2 Super Bowls and won 2. Congratulations. Dan Marino didn't get to a Super Bowl at all. Warren Moon didn't get to a Super Bowl at all. Matter of fact, he beat Warren Moon in the 90s. Well, he didn't technically beat him. I mean, he was on the bench. But the Buffalo Bills beat the Houston Oilers when Warren Moon was the quarterback. Like, Jim Kelly was that fucking dude. And also, he was also drafted in the same draft as John Elway and Dan Marino. So, yeah. Number 3, the reason why I have Jim Kelly at 4 and not top 3 is because I got Thurman Thomas, who was his running back, his teammate, and one of the best running backs that nobody ever talks about. Thurman Thomas won an MVP. I think he was also a 2,000-yard rusher. Like, Thurman Thomas was that fucking dude. If people don't really give Thurman Thomas his fucking just due because he didn't want to ring. But that man was one of the greatest running backs of all time. And I had to put Thurman Thomas on this list because he fucking deserves it, man. Number 2. Who else would be number 2? Jerry fucking Rice. Who else would be on this fucking list? In Jerry Rice was still great, even in the '80s, and then he went into the '90s and still had great years. Like the man was, it's Jerry fucking Rice. Like, come on, Jerry Rice is one of the greatest fucking wide receivers of all time. You thought he would slow down in the fucking '90s? You thought it would slow down in the fucking '90s? He still won the ring in the '90s. He won in '94 with Steve Young, but Jerry Rice was still putting up great fucking incredible numbers in the '90s. Like fucking, just like you just be sitting like, how the fuck he still putting up these types of numbers? What the fuck is going on? Jerry Rice was that fucking dude. Still is to this day. Jerry Rice is one of the greatest receivers of all time. There will never come a time where I think anybody will ever be greater than Jerry Rice in the sense of wide receiver. I don't give a fuck what you think of these new generation motherfuckers. They will never be Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is one of the rare few receivers that actually won rings and was the best receiver. Like he won. Now you can sit there and say it's because of the San Francisco 49er system, whatever the fuck you want to say. Name me a lot of receivers that were as that great, that fucking great, and won rings, and still was highly touted as one of the greatest receivers. Name me one. None of the 2000s. Randy Moss didn't win one. T.O. didn't win one. Chad Johnson didn't win one. I mean, Chad Ochocinco didn't win one. Like, Larry Fitzgerald didn't win one. And Anquan Boyd did win one with Baltimore. But Andre Johnson didn't win one. Like, bro, you so many receivers that happened in the 2000s that didn't win rings. Did Steve Smith win one with Baltimore? Like, he might have came the year after they won. But, he might have retired before they got the ring. But there's so many great receivers that don't have rings. Jerry Rice is one of them. Mike Irvin too. Like there's great receivers that just never won a fucking ring. Jerry Rice won four of them bitches. Four of them bitches. Like bro, it's different levels to this shit, bro. Jerry Rice is one of the greatest fucking football players to ever do it. So yeah, and he was still killing shit in the 2000s. People forget Jerry Rice was torching motherfuckers in the 2000s. Early 2000s, man, he was torching people, bro. But at number one, it is Emmitt Smith. I have to put Emmitt Smith on this list, and he has to be at number one. I know a lot of people sit there and say, over Jerry Rice, over Dan Marino, over John. Yes, Emmitt Smith. In the 90s, nobody was touching Emmitt Smith. The man was the Dallas Cowboys offense. I love Michael Irvin. I love Troy Aikman, but all of that offense was centered around getting the running game going, and he was the key fucking piece of that fucking running game to get going. The man made most of his biggest when he became, and by the way, he still is the rushing leader in the NFL history. Most of his biggest years happened in the 90s. Happened in the 90s. Emmitt Smith is one of the greatest running backs of all time. That's not a joke. That's not a game. That's not even a high skip and a fucking jump. This man was still killing shit in the 2000s, bro. Emmitt Smith in the 90s, though, was one of the greatest running backs you've ever seen. Like, this shit is ridiculous. Like, the man was fucking goated. Dallas offense wasn't shit if this man wasn't in the offense. Troy Aikman, Mike Irvin probably would have shit. I don't even think they win a ring. Emmitt Smith was the offense for Dallas. He was the offense. And that's the thing. So I got Emmitt Smith at number one. Yeah. So here we go. Number one, Emmitt Smith. Number two, Jerry Rice. Number three, Thurman Thomas. Number four, Jim Kelly. Number five, Brett Favre. Number six, Michael Irvin. Number seven, Steve Young. Number eight, John Elway. Number nine, Dan Marino. And number 10, Warren Moon. That is the list. Clearly, you already know next week is going to be top 10 defensive players of the 90s. That's going to be pretty goddamn interesting. I can't wait. I kind of can tell you who number one. You could probably guess who number one going to be. Clearly. But 2 through 10 is going to be fucking interesting. But that's neither here nor there. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you guys later. Peace.